detecting the structure of proteins, for instance. It is hugely, AI is being used in a very, very big way, hugely in healthcare system, medical systems, in agriculture, architecture, manufacturing. In fact, it is tipped. Every one of us are talking and discussing it, that it is being tipped to bring in completely new production processes, which we had never known before across the industry. In fact, to my mind, in short, we can say that it is likely to transform the technological foundation of modern human society as we know it. However, with this such huge opportunities, also comes, for everything there are contentions and contestations. The health consequences of the expanding use of AI, like say for instance, smartphone and the social media, know how it is promoting, say for instance, self-harm and issues of suicide amongst young people. It is how it is increasing the issues of mental health issues, increase of the hate speech and hate narratives. If you all remember, in 2019, the United Nations was forced to come up with a UN strategy and plan of action for a strategy and plan of action to counter hate speech. So, in all those contexts, how it can be, how these are important dimensions when we are talking of the adverse impact of AIs that is there. And here also, when we are talking of massive use of AI techniques, the screens, the smartphone, and all, how it impacts the digital reading, how it promotes shallow reading, reduced comprehension, reduced critical thinking abilities, so on and so forth. So these are again the negative issues that needs to be concerned with. Here, when we are talking of new emerging large language, generative AIs and large language models like the Chat GPT and all. Sometime back, I was reading a few months back an interesting article in the Wall Street Journal where some of these large language models, they have got some workers, the data workers, back in some countries like Kenya, where they were, constantly working to clear the dark, content of masses of text, audio and visual material. There are so much of toxic, violent languages in many of these, AI systems, violent language, videos of rapes, beheadings, suicides, bestiality. These are so many important things. And the workers, actually, according to that journal, the workers in these areas who were involved in mining and detaching these violent, extremely violent materials, they were suffering from mental health issues and broken families. So that also another important dimension which comes with this massive, unprecedented expansion of AI today is how in the world where we see in a capitalist structure, how the focus is on increasing productivity and maximizing profit and minimizing labor. But with the advent of AI, I feel that this principle has taken an unprecedented new turn, and it is going to an unprecedented new level. And in fact, in many of these areas, as we will be finding, the role of labor will be eliminated in many of these production areas, and it is likely to increase inequality. Sometime back, my friend Munaza was talking about this AI news anchors. Already there were so many AI news anchors in several countries, and in India also we have had in some news channels they have come in. And the thing, sometime back also, a few years back, I was having a session with judicial officers, and one of the senior judicial officers was saying at some stage, say 5 years, 7 years down the line, you will be interacting with a robo judge, and you might be training a robo judge on non-violent communication. So these are the concerns that are there. I want to flag off for the esteemed speaker for today. Also, my question is, what if artificial super intelligence surpasses human intelligence? That's again a question that I want to ask for all of you. Here in this today's session, we are focusing on the language of AI, how nonviolent communication needs to be a language of the AI systems, because I shared with you some of these very serious findings of how such violent, toxic language gets into it, and how we can actually be a counter narrative to it. So, Munaza, I have been working on this in this area, and we have been able to put together a small little reading booklet on this subject of nonviolent communication and AI. And our contention is that we need today a completely new form of cultural, social, and philosophical renaissance of new humanistic ideas that needs to come in as we have to counter the rise of the artificial super intelligence. And in that renaissance, which we are talking about, new humanistic renaissance, we strongly feel that nonviolent communication has to be an integral part of such a new humanistic renaissance. So, with those points in mind, today's speaker, the distinguished speakers for the day, we have Professor George Onzi. In fact, when I would be inviting the distinguished speakers, I will be sharing their profiles with all of you. It would be such a wonderful thing to listen to all of you. We have Professor George Onzi. We have Professor Tariq Gunasferal. I hope I am pronouncing it correctly, sir. Professor Tariq Gunasferal from Turkey. Uh, we have Dr. Jyotirmaya Thakur, who is a person of Indian origin and staying in the UK. And I've heard her a number of times in this GPLT platform, and she's something amazing. Also, we have Ma'am Dr. Franca, and we are celebrating her birthday today, actually. Dr. Franca Colosa from Italy, and we are celebrating her birthday. Once again, a great birthday to you, ma'am, and it will be wonderful to listen to you. And also, I have my friend, Miss Munaza Shah from India. But before we go to the first speaker, I would be the whole thing, as I said, this whole program germinated from this small little blog that Munaza and I had put together some time back, and I shared with Nikki ma'am. So we thought we should put it like a booklet kind of a thing, and we are honored that Nikki ma'am shared her message in the book. So I would be requesting our young friend Kushi to kindly share the screen with the first, to share the booklet. It is been uploaded in the PDF drive. So every one of you, I would request Kushi to share the link with that. And then we can share with that. And before and after that, we go on to the session. Kushi, if we can kindly
All
share the
right.
screen and share that thing, and so that everyone can look at it, and kindly share the link in the chat box. Why nonviolent communication need to be the language of artificial intelligence systems. In fact, here, as Kushi is sharing, our friend Patrick is there. Patrick Chun from the World Stability Index, and I and Patrick have been discussing on these issues for quite some time. And the other day, I had a very long talk with Patrick on how the human footprints, the humanity needs to be the most important idea and alternative in this age of super intelligence. We have had long discussions with this. Khushi, can you kindly show us the message of also here the message of Nikki ma'am? We are really honored, Munasa and I, that ma'am, you could share your views on this. And if you can quickly share all the small little pages in a few seconds so that we can complete this exercise. This is a small introduction. You can all download it and read at leisure, and kindly share your views. For your information, it is essentially not an article type, it's basically a conversation. Both of us have been writing on several issues in a conversation style. We have put together a book on Mahatma Gandhi on this conversation style, and our aim, our focus is that we discuss, and this is the conversation style that we have this. So you're most welcome to kindly download, read, share your views with us, and also share with all of us. So thank you, Khushi, for that. So as I go to our first speaker for the day, here, as I say, the most important point which needs to be also be a could be a takeaway from this whole program here. In the morning, I had the honor of being invited by a mediation center from Malaysia, where our friend Tina Jones was there. She's from the United States, and we had some very interesting discussion on nonviolent communication in the context of mediation. And there were some mediators from Malaysia and Indonesia. One of the important points we did talk about this program, uh, this evening's program. I'm talking about Indian context from the context of India. So the important point, and I feel we could all take away. It is very good, say I or Patrick or Martha ma'am or Nikki ma'am, we are all there together having possibly similar views, and we come together in a platform to discuss some of these critical issues that we're going to talk about today. What important point flag off that we had from the morning session was it is not completely it's important that we go beyond our close group. Say for instance GPLT, like as my friend Munaza would be talking about the gaming industry and other things, how we can reach out to say AI engineers, how we can form a coalition, or how we can reach out to say people in the gaming industry. It's not enough that we talk in a closed door like this, but what is important is to take some of these important ideas which the humanity is facing to people who really matter, people who are engineers, AI engineers, people in the gaming industry, and other important stakeholders. So, in that context, may I request all the speakers to come and share some very important practical ideas on how we can use this program for today, and possibly how GPLT and other stakeholders could take it forward from here on this important dimension of AI systems. So our first speaker for the day, we will take questions after the program, ma'am. So we will respond to each one of you. So our first speaker for the day is my friend Munaza, Ms. Munaza Shah from India. She is a senior broadcast journalist, and she is an erudite writer. She is a very important, interesting researcher on many of these issues. Both of us are working on several books together. We published a book last year on conversations with Mahatma Gandhi. We are working on several books. Also, what we are doing is working in the area of inner transformation and working in the area to build how to build inner resilience. Besides, we are seriously doing research on the area of non-violent intrapersonal communication with many people who are having facing toxic relationships, so on and so forth. What kind of intrapersonal communication they have. So she is a very avid follower of the Mahatma Gandhi, and she is writing, and we are writing together, working together, different conversations like this particular booklet that we have, and we are working on several other conversations together. So may I invite our first speaker for the day, Ms. Munaza Shah, to kindly share her views. And my request to each and every distinguished speaker for the day is that kindly stick to the 10 minutes which Nikki ma'am had shown right in the morning, so that we finish it in time and have adequate time for question answers, because it's such an important topic. We need to have more interactions, not a one-way communication. Thank you very much, Munaza, please.
Thank you so much, Prakash. Thank you so much for a lovely introduction. And I'm so thankful to Professor Nikki ma'am for this amazing opportunity, for this amazing platform. Really thankful to her and to all the distinguished speakers here. Thank you for this platform. As you have covered that, why do we need non-violence to be the language of AI. You have covered that. Let me go straight to the point that what is non-violent conversation, which we have actually worked upon the collective conversations that we have put together in our work. This book is called Pathways to Global Transformation Conversations with Bapu. These are the imaginary conversations with Mahatma Gandhi, where we talk about contemporary issues, and we talk about how we can integrate the Gandhian principles in our day-to-day lives in various aspects of life. So non-violent conversation, when we talk about what is a non-violent conversation and where we are dealing with non-violent conversations, it would be, it's the ability and capacity to communicate with ourselves, within ourselves, with everybody and nature, when all the aspects, all the elements of this conversation is based on non-violence. That is, the whole process of this conversation, of the communication, is based on non-violence. So that is non-violent, and there are the elements of the non-violent communication that we develop and we integrate in our day-to-day lives, be it empathy, be it gratitude, be it kindness, compassion. So when we talk about artificial intelligence and how it is invading, be it our lives, how it's changing the aspect of our lives, and how it is that terms, am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, please, you're audible.
Okay. Sorry about that. So, like we have seen the cases today now, how be it the Rosanna Ramos from US has created a virtual boyfriend and then married that person. The virtual created a what we call it an image, and she calls that image a perfect husband. Or be it a social media influencer, Mila Sofia, who has more than 1 lakh followers and claims to be from Finland. The only thing is that Sophia Mila doesn't exist, it's just an AI. And weirdly, that social media account is also earning and earning in huge amounts. So there is a threat, and we do need to inculcate the non-violent uh, pattern, the non-violent footprints in the algorithms and in the system of AI. How do we do that? Coming to that point, as we all in our global transformation and conversations with Babu, in the chapter where we are talking about man is supposed to be the maker of his own destiny, where we revisit and promote Guardian values in the age of metaverse and algorithm. Uh, how that can be achieved, how we can really achieve the non-violence, non-violent AI in today's world. When we are talking about the video games that we have today, when we are talking about the various social media applications that we have, that we are using on our day-to-day lives, it's all based on the algorithms. It's all based on with the specific data through which every social media app or any app is working. There's a proper process. These engineers who are developing these apps, who are developing these games, they have put a proper thought. They have created the whole environment, the whole virtual world around that video game, around that app, around any that software. Uh, and then that creates a new perspective that these users of video games, of social media apps are having with the application of it. So what we need to do is we need to integrate the non-violent communication elements in these algorithms, in these systems. How we can achieve that? We need to connect with the developers of video games. We need to connect with the engineers of these algorithms, and we have to understand that how it will benefit us and in how many aspects it's going to benefit us. Be it the video games that are getting more and more violent in today's times, affecting the children mind, how it is affecting their consciousness, how it is affecting their growth. So when we talk about the video games, it's getting more violent, and if it can get violent, and if we are creating such amazing softwares where the virtual world looks more and more real, definitely we can create the world, the virtual video games that can look more natural, that can look more peaceful, and that can give benefits to these children and not pollute their minds with violence. So there we need to get on the real grounds and really talk about how we can, rather than going on the negative aspect of it, the evil aspect of it, where we are talking about more and more violent video games. We can promote the more peaceful video games, more peaceful applications, so that the users are not slowly changing their minds. It affects our minds. What we are doing on day-to-day basis, what we are dealing with on our day-to-day basis, it is shaping our minds, it's changing the structure of our minds and our thinking patterns. Considering that threat, we need to change the algorithms, the mathematics of what we are dealing with, be it the apps. Also, what we, if we know about this option that we have in our social media applications, be it Facebook or any other application, there we have the report options there. What is it? It's basically to identify if a certain comment, if a certain post, if a certain content is harmful in any ways. So we do have that kind of options that we are still using. That is how we can promote more and more non-violent uh, communication, non-violent AI in our systems by including more and more such options, by turning it into an AI which is completely promoting peace and promoting not hate speech, not disinformation, not something that can be harmful to anybody, because that's what we are seeing is happening today with the deep fakes. That is more and more getting prominent, and that is what also UN Secretary General said, that it's a real threat. If this goes rampant, this can create a serious threat globally. There we have to be very conscious and how we can do that. And he also stressed on that we need to come together. We need to have those forces together and then build a peaceful apps. We need to have uh, the apps, the AI, which is completely based on the structure of non-violence. There we can do it, but we have to also consider this, that we need to talk about the engineering part of it, the technical part of it. Because when we are talking about the AI, we are majorly talking about how these systems are developed. And those people who are related to engineering it, to developing these systems, to develop these structures, and to develop the code of it, through which we develop the programs, the websites. There we have to be very careful, because if we have algorithms that can identify the facial expressions, the facial structures, the emotions uh, based on these eyes, then we can also develop the structure, the system, where we can also promote peace, that can help, be it in healthcare, be it in education. We have these chatbots which can promote the fake news, which can promote these hate speech. But we can also try to change it into, like we have talked about deep fakes in our conversation, we can also change it into an education videos that can actually be really helpful and not a threat to the community. And that can be achieved by, I think my time is running out, and I would like to conclude it with the humanization of AI. As Vedra was touching this point, that there is something that is missing about the AI, which is we are losing the human connection. More and more, if we are getting into it, into the AI systems, we are losing that humanitarian values. So we need the humanization of artificial intelligence so that we can have a better world and a secure world tomorrow. The threat is not something we are talking superficially, because we have seen when we were developing a nuclear technology, it may have seemed far-fetched that time for those people who talked about its real threats, but we know how that turned out. So when we talk about the AI posing threat to our world and globally, and it can cause serious threats, be it even when we talk about promoting the terrorism, it can be there and it's real. So how do we turn it? By changing its language, and the language has to be the non-violent language based on the Gandhian principles. That would be all from my side. But we have been working on AI and consciousness Veda Vyas and I, and we are trying to promote the non-violent communication through this work that we are trying to do, and the research is based on the non-violent Gandhian principles. Thank you so much. Thank you again for this wonderful opportunity, Nikki ma'am. Really thankful, and Veda Vyas, thank you so much to all the speakers as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Munaza. The important takeaway I want to put before all the esteemed audience an important situation. Say, for instance, we are all working on the area of peace and non-violence and area. So, what if a non-violent action or non-violent movement is going on, and the agency, state agency, brings in AI, police, something like that. So there, how are we in a position to even negotiate with those, say AI police, if I may call, because there is no human to human interaction, human to human connection. So I'm just thinking of those kind of extreme situation. Then she was talking about this lady from the United States, Rosanna Ramos, who recently married in June. AI, she has an AI husband, and she says a perfect husband. So what is the when we are talking of a heart-to-heart human communication? So it entails the embracing and accepting our frailties, our weaknesses, and those that human to human touch. Like say, if I am Patrick are talking to each other, we are talking in a human experience. We are talking about understanding our weaknesses. We are talking about embracing our issues, concerns, and all. But when we are, if I have to talk with an AI, it's not possible. That heart to heart or the soul to soul communication is not there. So I would term such kind of communication as frozen communication, for instance. So without wasting any time, let me go to the next distinguished speaker for the day. And I heard ma'am quite a bit last time we had a program with the GPLT. Dr. Jyoti Maya Thakur, she is a person of Indian origin. She was born in India in 1956. She is a retired principal of a Cambridge affiliated school. She is the author of more than 50 books and working in different genres. She is an amazing poet, and she has been translated into almost 43 languages. That's quite amazing for all of us to even fathom. Her poems, stories, articles, and research papers have been widely published and translated all across the world in highly acclaimed journals and magazines. She is essentially also has a Grand Master degree in Reiki healing and Karuna Reiki. And also, she has been writing on different communication classes. She has been pursuing creative writing opportunities. And in fact, since 2010, she has written hundreds of articles on spirituality, mental health, and the power of positivity. Here lies the importance for understanding the viewpoints from man's perspective, because we are talking of humanization, as Munasa was talking about humanization of the AI system. Munasa was talking of how the language of non-violent communication needs to be the language of AI system. She was talking of deep fakes and how and non-violent communication can be a counter narrative to it. So it was already at a spiritual level, which I would say Munaza had taken us, and now to delve in a greater depth from someone so senior like you, it would be an honor to listen to you, ma'am. Ma'am, please. Ma'am, you have to unmute yourself, please.
Yeah. Thank you very much, all of you. And yes, I'm very honored that you gave me a chance to speak, because my artificial intelligence that I'm going to talk about is mostly about it getting right in only one way. Now, I'll come to that in the end. You talked very nicely about human consciousness, about the ability to communicate like human by 5 senses, which of course a robotic artificial intelligence cannot. So let's come to know the promise and peril of artificial intelligence, but not in a very materialistic way, because we know every tool that has been invented has been an advancement. But this is actually a real advancement which can either be used for destruction or for something much higher consciousness. And I'm going to talk about that. And there is only one thing that it has to get right by a human endeavor. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is, we all know the heightened promise and potential threat of AI is constantly in the news. People become very confused, deeply confused. Should they welcome the AI revolution or should they fear it? In either case, robotics and supercomputers march ahead with inexorable momentum. We have already marched ahead now. There are warnings from top-level scientists about a future in which computers so advanced that they will leap into autonomy. That is the great threat. Free to make their own decisions the ways humans do, AI machines conceivably might create catastrophes like starting a war. On a more mundane level, robotics has steadily replaced humans in many jobs. So I was talking about boon and bane. So at the moment, just the bane. So I come back to the real crux. Of course, AI is also touted as a huge advance, yet the irony is that the direst perils of AI are already here in the form of our own human intelligence. We feel intuitively that we have natural intelligence, not the artificial kind. After all, nobody built us from mechanical parts. We lead emotional lives. We are capable of insight and self-reflection. Despite these things, however, the human mind is deeply artificial in many ways, and the negative connotations of the word artificial, fake, lifeless, illusory, mechanical, arbitrary apply to our everyday life. For example, when we fall into self-defeating habits that we can't break out of, we are exhibiting robotic behavior. When we give in to primitive responses like aggression, fear, and hostility, we relate to our lower brains like biological robots. And when we create totally arbitrary value systems like competing religions and political ideologies, we follow pre-programmed mental software without thinking for ourselves. The ability of human intelligence to create new constructs is a two-edged sword. For every advance in science and technology, there are destructive results of war, environmental depredation, and other attacks on nature, including from within. Nothing is more deeply troubling than human nature, which can run out of control more fatally than any robot or supercomputer. These examples illustrate the artificiality of human intelligence because there is nothing natural about them. All are mind created. This raises the question of why we permit ourselves to lead pre-programmed robotic lives according to second-hand opinions, outworn beliefs, fixed conditioning, and mechanical responses. AI in the field of technology is simply about to build a better logic machine. This is how the nonviolent communication will come in. AI in the human sense is about discovering what natural intelligence might be. In a world imperiled by every form of human folly, discord, and self-created war, no issue is more urgent. As complex as the situation is, and this is the only barest scratch of it, the answer is not complex. The answer is not complex. We need to know ourselves in a new way. If you try a fresh start by throwing out all artificial, arbitrary constructs that burden us, what's left is the most basic aspect of life, experience. Strange as it sounds, none of us really understand how experience works because we are too entangled in to find the right viewpoint, a viewpoint uncolored by the restless mind. Here are a few bare facts of experience I'm going to give. First, it is evanescent. Experience rise and fall, appearing and disappearing. Secondly, we have no idea how or why this occurs. The next thought is totally unpredictable, except when it's robotic and therefore out of control. Third is keeping life for disintegrating into total discontinuity. We set up a simulation of reality that enables us to survive and thrive. This simulation, as the brain evolved over millions of years, we call the human world. This is our creation, human world, which is based on the 5 senses: everyday perception, interpretation of perception, and the story is based on the interpretation that everyone agrees upon, and we call it universal truths. Agreed upon or not, our simulation of reality is totally arbitrarily. And at the bottom of it is a gigantic feedback loop. We believe that we see what we believe. So it is a loop. To escape the feedback loop would be the fresh start. That is the goal of the world's wisdom traditions. You can't escape by using mental activity any more than a hamster can get to a new place by running faster in its wheel. As surely as computer will never employ AI to become human. I'm coming to the point, AI can never be human. We cannot use it, our mental programming, to free ourselves from mental programming. The whole project is self-contradictory. If the simulation of reality has trapped us, what does reality begin? Logically, it must begin in something constant in the face of immanence, permanent in the face of change, and unaffected by the mind and its crippling ability to trap itself. You can't predict or control your next thought, but one thing is certain: you will be aware of it. You will be aware of your thought. A thought is a spark of awareness taking shape before it vanishes. The same is true of bigger mental events, too, like memory, theories, models, philosophies, religions, technologies, and history. We try to anchor ourselves to shift to these bigger events, but inevitably they shift, rise and fall, and give way to something equally insecure. By trying to anchor life on what is impermanent, we ignore the other alternative, anchoring life on what is permanent. If we made that choice instead, there would be no fear, no insecurity, conflict, and confusion. Resting on the foundation of consciousness, coming to the point, resting on the foundation of consciousness means not buying into impermanence, and impermanence is by definition the source of all illusions. Because every illusion is a child of one great illusion that life is impermanent, threatened by the specter of death. In reality, life is consciousness itself, and therefore it isn't the opposite of death. Here, one of the most artificial things about human intelligence are false beliefs, that we are our thoughts, that we, humans, are our thoughts. If that were true, impermanence would be the only reality. Fortunately, beliefs can be unmade as well as made. There has been total allegiance to the belief that we are our thoughts. Now this, the entire tradition of spirit, soul, God, and enlightenment is a form of dissent against the domination of the mind and the futile attempt to perfect mind created reality. Even if our minds could make us perfectly happy, returning to the Eden of innocent childhood, we would still be in the grip of illusion. The only way to be a free human being is to identify with consciousness itself. That's the only fresh start available to us. If AI, if artificial intelligence replicates a false idea of intelligence, its future will be deeply flawed. AI can expand our intelligence only through a correct view of consciousness. So it has to get only one thing right. AI turned into a flash phenomenon. And after decades, so many commentaries going on, serving up visions of a dystopia ruled by supercomputers run amok. On the other hand, a smarter, more efficient way to improve every aspect of human life. Why not use it that way? To improve the aspect of human life. So aside in the whole scheme and pro and con, AI is the first tool that has the ability to do something unique. It can make us more human. It can make us more human. This requires a little explanation. If you have the patience, I'll just explain a little bit. Using a flint blade, bullet, etc., armored bank, atom bomb as mechanisms of death taught us nothing about being human that we didn't already know. We knew all that to destroy. For good or ill, every tool has reinforced we already know about ourselves. To be different, AI has to cross a threshold no previous tool has attained. And this is the threshold of self-awareness. Self-awareness doesn't need any tool. It isn't driven by desire. It persists without change over the entire history of humanity. Before AI, tools had a serious flaw. They have nothing to do with self-awareness. This happened because of their link with desire. So people aren't prepared for illusions to suddenly drop away. Being thrown back again, a story is who you really are, is an emperor's new clothes experience that can be devastating. You're exposedly nakedly to yourself. AI can do that. Yet in the more world spiritual traditions, knowing yourself is the path to freedom and the end of suffering. So this is the Buddha's enlightenment. We have the magic now in our hand. This is where AI enters the picture as something new. If we set the task of making us more human, the following shifts are possible. This makeshift. By taking over meaningless routine work, AI creates the space for more meaningful activity. Forced work that has no meaning in a major way, we lose our humanity in everyday life. AI can bring personal psychotherapy for free to anyone who wants it. Being trapped in mental suffering makes us less human, and right now, the vast majority of human race has no escape even from the milder forms of mental distress. AI can help break bad habits by being a constant presence. Very simple. Advising how to escape the allure habits. For example, AI will show us moment to moment when we are repeating the past and thus suggest how to use repetition in a positive way. Imagine a refrigerator that you open that says, reach for the carrots, not the ice cream. There we are, getting into good habits. An AI bot fed with enough information can reveal your true motivations and your ties to old conditioning. Take a few steps in the direction, and insight begins to spark one. Once it gets powerful enough, AI can offer global solutions to climate change, fossil fuels, species extinctions, etc. in a big way. Once there is no excuse to debate what the best solutions are, nation can drop the pretense that denial and irrational obstructions are viable responses. These are all examples of seeing reality more clearly by seeing ourselves more clearly. This is a step further than creating more space for self-awareness. Self-awareness is immutable, therefore it doesn't drive desire. And as long as we are rid of the desire-driven, people can use all the benefits of AI to ratchet up the same old distraction. You have to favor self-awareness in order to benefit. So AI can remove the suffering, physical illness in all kinds of ways. It can enable people to drop excuses that came along, that I'm a victim, I'm too sick, etc. I'm only going to die anyway. etc. has to be, all excuses are gone. The ultimate promise of AI is that humans will look around and seeing no external reason to, into illusions, we will have an aha moment, the great moment that reveals who we really are, which is pure self-awareness. Even if self-awareness is slightly favored, it begins to become more important in answering the question, who am I? Who am I? That's the question that makes us human and helping us to actually pose the question rather than running away from it. Now, AI has the potential to make us more human from inside out, as no tool has ever done. So, 3 cosmic mysteries AI has to solve. Can it do it? Can it do it? Well, the 3 things are basic brain, If AI can cross these thresholds of cosmic challenges, it will be able to explore and perhaps solve mysteries that have defied human intelligence. The first threshold is creativity, a quality which some people possess in abundance, but which cannot, so far at least, be taught. Creativity cannot be taught. How and why did creativity emerge as the most important aspect that makes art, science, technology, civilization possible? Is it a cosmic trait? If creativity is innate in the
I think there is some problem. Can we hear, ma'am? Can anyone hear, ma'am?
Frozen.
I think it is frozen. I suppose there is a problem. Well, I think without wasting any time, because we have more speakers and we need to also have some meaningful discussions. Possibly we can take questions from ma'am when she comes back. I think she has left. So our next speaker for the day is Dr. R. Franca Colosa. And we, as once again, a very great happy birthday to you, ma'am. Ma'am is basically a member of the UIA, Union of International Architects. She is a poet, a writer, and a teacher of technology. She has been involved in the drawing of art history on behalf of the Italian Foreign Office in Istanbul. She is a bilingual author of almost 20 books. She is a blogger. She is massively into the UN SDGs. She is a member of the UN ECOSOC. She is an important board member of the Global Peace Let's Talk. I have heard ma'am a number of times. In fact, the other day we had a very interesting session with some of the new people, new members who have joined the Global Peace Let's Talk. So ma'am was there coordinating that program. So ma'am, without wasting any time, can we hear from you, your perspective on this whole issue? And also a gentle reminder to our esteemed speakers, kindly stick to the 10 minutes pointer so that we can have some meaningful interactions after that. Dr. R. Franca Colosa.
Okay, hi to everyone. Greetings from Italy. I will try to be as concise as possible. I will say before good things about artificial intelligence system, and later bad things. So I will begin soon with the good things. Non-violent communication, being the language of artificial intelligence systems, can be beneficial for several reasons. 1, ethical and responsible artificial intelligence. AI systems are becoming increasingly integrated into various aspects of society, influencing decision-making processes and interacting with humans. Utilizing nonviolent communication ensures that AI operates in an ethical and responsible manner, promoting empathy, understanding, and compassion in its interactions. 2. Positive user experience. When AI systems communicate using nonviolent language, it fosters a positive user experience. Users are more likely to engage with and trust AI that responds to their queries and concerns in a respectful and empathetic manner. 3. Reduced misunderstandings. NVC, it means nonviolent communication, emphasizes active listening and clear expression of emotions and needs. AI systems that understand and utilize NVC, nonviolent communication, are better equipped to interpret and respond to user queries accurately, reducing the chances of misunderstandings and miscommunication. 4. Conflict resolution. NVC is designed to resolve conflicts peacefully and constructively. AI systems that incorporate these principles can help de-escalate potentially tense or emotionally charged situations, promoting harmonious interactions between users and the AI. 5, or positive before, emotional support. AI systems that use nonviolent communication can offer emotional support to users in certain contexts. For instance, in applications related to mental health, wellness, or companionship, NVC can help users feel heard and understood, even if the AI may not fully comprehend human emotions. 6. Social acceptance. As AI becomes more integrated into society, concerns about its impact on human relationships and communication may arise. Utilizing NVC can help address these concerns and ensure that AI is perceived as a tool that enhances human interaction rather than hinders it. 7, and the last point in favor, human-like interaction. Adopting NVC can make AI interactions feel more natural and human-like. This can be especially valuable in applications like virtual assistants, chatbots, and other conversational AI systems. This is the 7 points, the positive points. However, it is essential to acknowledge that while NVC, nonviolent communication, can be beneficial in many contexts, AI systems are still machines and lack true understanding and emotions. The use of NVC should not mislead the users into believing they are interacting with a sentient being or a true empathetic entity. Rather, NVC serves as a tool to improve communication and user experience while respecting ethical considerations. Now I see the bad points before the positive are why. What are the problems of AI and how can them be solved? AI, despite its numerous benefits and potential, also presents several challenges and problems. Some of the key problems of AI are: the first one, bias and fairness. AI models can inherit biases from the data they are trained on, leading to unfair and discriminatory outcomes. Addressing bias in AI systems requires careful data collection and processing, diverse and inclusive training data sets, and ongoing monitoring and evaluation. Second, explainability. Many AI models, especially deep learning algorithms, are often considered black boxes because they lack transparency in how they arrive at their decisions. Improving the explainability of AI models is essential for building trust and understanding their decision-making processes. 3, data privacy and security. AI systems often require access to large amounts of data, raising concerns about the privacy and the security of sensitive information. Robust data protection measures like data anonymization and encryption are necessary to mitigate these risks. 4, lack of regulation. The rapid advancement of AI has outpaced the regulatory frameworks, leading to potential measures and ethical dilemmas. Developing appropriate regulations and standards is crucial to ensure responsible AI deployment. 5, unemployment and economic disruption. There is also this big problem. Maybe the biggest one is this. The automation potential of AI has raised concerns about job displacement and economic disruptions. Governments and industries must plan for workforce reskilling and upskilling programs to mitigate these impacts. 6, ethical decision-making. AI can be tasked with making critical decisions, such as in autonomous vehicles and healthcare. Ensuring that AI systems adhere to ethical principles and values is a complex challenge. 7, malicious use. This is one of the worst. Artificial intelligence can be exploited for malicious purposes, such as creating a deep fake content or conducting cyber attacks. Developing safeguards and countermeasures to prevent the misuse of AI is essential. I have finished. The first points were about the positivity, 7 points. The second about negativity. So I finish now how to solve this problem. Solving these problems requires a multifaceted approach involving collaboration among governments, researchers, and industry stakeholders. Some potential solutions include responsible AI development, data governance and privacy regulations. I read very quickly because it's long. Explainable AI, encouraging the research and development of AI models, AI ethics frameworks, because we have to establish AI ethics frameworks to guide the responsible deployment of AI in various domains. Education and awareness, promoting AI literacy and awareness among the public and the policymakers to make informed decisions about AI technology. Collaboration and standards, encouraging collaboration between governments, organizations, researchers to establish common AI standards and guidelines. And so I have the last one is continuous monitoring and evaluation. This is a point of very, very important because we have to monitoring and because we humans can be not able to control them. I finished with so how do we save the world? This is my last point. How do? And June, I remember is a petition. You know Patrick, June, your petition. I have posted on LinkedIn because it is very important, and I am very worried about artificial intelligence and peace in this world. So I have finished. I leave maybe more than 10 minutes. I apologize if I take more time.
Thank you, Dr.
Okay.
R.
Finish.
Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful. We have our last speaker for the day, Dr. Tariq Gunarsel, because I think Professor George Onsi is not there. So Dr. Tariq Gunarsel, in fact, I find all our esteemed participants quite, we have been meeting and just now joined by our sister from Egypt, Dr. Sarah. She is doing a lot of work on media diplomacy. And for your information, so I shared with her the link and she's there. She's doing a lot of work on media diplomacy. So here now is Dr. Tariq Gunarsel. He is from Turkey. He's a poet, playwright, actor, and part of the Earth civilization. Dr. Gunarsel is a member of the PEN International Board, was a member of the PEN International Board from 2010 to 12. He has been the co-founder of the World Poetry Day and initiator and co-founder of the Earth Civilization Network. He has been in the advisory member of PEN International Peace Committee and advisory board member of RRM3. So he is based in Istanbul, and he has been working in Istanbul Metropolitan Theatre as a dramaturg, actor, and director. Possibly, sir, we could think of having a virtual play on this whole idea of non-violent communication and and artificial intelligence, keeping in mind your amazing capabilities to develop a play or theater. In fact, just for the information of the entire group, I, Nikki ma'am, and I, with the help of Martha ma'am, we are trying to push or motivate a very well-known singer from Argentina, Evangelina, to compose a song of peace, which we intend as GPLT is going to do a lot of program from the International Peace Day, September 21st to the October 2nd, the International Day of Non-Violence. So we plan to launch that song on October 2nd at the International Day of Non-Violence. So possibly I have many of these crazy kind of ideas which I try to share with Nikki ma'am and Martha ma'am, and they so poignantly take up, and we then end up doing something. So I would love to share with you, sir, some idea. Possibly we could think of having a play, or possibly you can read our conversations on Munada and I mine conversation on non-violent communication and AI system, and who knows, you could come with some kind of an interesting play. Because when we are talking of dramatics, when we are talking of music, theater, it helps in spreading the messages in a greater way than just talk. So definitely we would love to work with you in some way or the other with some ideas that comes up from this in a more creative fashion. Sir, the floor is all yours, please.
Thank you all. And dear Earthmates, words, worlds. There are many worlds on the same planet. And there is no we. When we say we are being optimistic. We are assuming that we humans, and when we say humans, people like us, we cannot help attaching something good to it. There are words, for example, nature. In ourselves, we feel and think that, well, nature, that's good. The word artificial, it's a bit awkward, but it comes from art. Art is artificial. And inspired by some of the comments, and I've been learning a lot thanks to you all, there are a few things I would like to just touch. I hope you'll enjoy. Sorry. For me, fun is important. As a playwright and actor, for example, when we are too distressed, we can watch the wonderful 10-minute program on the YouTube about the next 10 billion years. There is also the next 100 billion years. And watching such documentaries helps us to be a little bit more puzzled, yet a little bit more modest and surprisingly joyful. We are a very small minority. When I say we, well, people like us in the world, but the potential is big. I'm sorry. Now, in our chat box, I shared a one-word, I don't know what to say, poem, a one word, but 2 words. It's a molecular word, actually. Humanity with A and I capital. Really huge, actually. So today, humanity, AI is part of humanity. It's part of us. And there are a few words I want to mention. One of them is post-nature. I think we can say that we are on a post-natural planet. With the it began with controlling the fire and has come on. So, and also we are supernatural. There is no need to try to imagine a supernatural being. I think we are already supernatural in the sense of post-natural, in a way, because we have AI, etc., etc. I'm not saying this is something good. It's neutral. When I say nature, to me, it's neutral. AI, neutral. Human, neutral. Neither good nor bad. It's like a knife. You can kill somebody or you can make an operation and help somebody with a knife. words are like that. For example, non-violence sounds good, but it is also problematic. I want to ask a provocative question. Did Gandhi not use violence? I think he did use violence. How? He showed it as an alternative to the British. He said, look, we are 300 million. How many soldiers can you keep here? How long? Quit. And then we can have good ties, beneficial for both sides. He threatened UK. Gandhi threatened, if you do not make an agreement with me, you will have to make a worse agreement with the violent alternative. To me, this is a diplomatic use of violence. If Gandhi had lived on an island with 1 million people, Gandhi would not have succeeded, because the UK would have crushed him and his movement so easily. So it is an illusion to say that Gandhi succeeded in a non-violent way. It is better to say that Gandhi showed all possibilities to the oppressor and wisely invited the oppressor to accept the less harmful one for the oppressor. I had been thinking like this for decades. And then last year, I learned something interesting. One of the leading British diplomats said he confessed something similar. So when we say non-violence, what are we proposing? Now, in Ukraine, I would be fighting against the invading army on the side of the Ukrainian families and so on. If somebody attacks Turkey, I will fight. I will not say, oh, please try to understand, peace is good. No, they are coming to destroy you. They are coming to destroy you. It is your legitimate, it is not violence. It is not violence. Using force, including weapons, is not violence if it is self-defense. And in that case, using the word non-violence, inviting the Ukrainians to non-violence, meaning stop fighting, that helps the oppressor. So, as we see, words are never, there are always two sides of the coin. So I prefer affectionate or compassionate rather than non-violent. To me, non-violent does not mean anything. I know what it means, what it is meant, but it doesn't work, and it is risky. It is even dangerous. I am talking provocatively on purpose. Secondly, or thirdly, or fourthly, I don't remember. Internet is wonderful. I think after the wheel with the internet, we can say BI, before internet. Internet. Have you ever visited the dark net? Have not. I have been afraid of visiting the dark net. It is the dark side of the internet. Now, for example, recently, a young woman from Saudi Arabia, she chose to become an atheist, and she had to leave Saudi Arabia. She now lives in Germany. Her brother went to the dark net to hire a professional killer to kill his sister. Why? Because she became an atheist. Now, these are bitter facts. AI always be used negatively. There is military intelligence. There is military strategy. And today, big powers especially, no matter what we do or say, no matter how many declarations we prepare, we should do them. But let's not forget that unless we can a global, concrete victory transcending national and class boundaries and capitalism, imperialism, and big superpower strategies using the name socialism, because words mask things really beautifully, we cannot achieve. But we need these meetings, but only as long as we are aware that we also need all kinds of weapons. I'm saying on purpose. I am saying, speaking unpleasantly, because if an artist does not speak unpleasantly sometimes when it is necessary, that is a lullaby. So we need to disturb. Art disturbs creatively. That's the difference between a Hollywood movie and a movie. Now, there are two main groups of people in the world. One is unification oriented, like we are. We want an Earth society, a society. There is, for example, an initiative called Earth Federation Movement. There is a great transition movement. These are similar, like us. There are many good initiatives, and we need to get to know one another and increase our synergy. Synergy is my favorite concept. The words fraternity, equality, and liberty are all problematic words. They were good in the 18th century. I prefer synergy. This is a synergic group, because when you use synergy, all the others melt in this idea. And that's an issue we can talk about later. The second group is conflict-oriented. We know these are bitter facts. States, governments, mostly, there is a war. This is one of my theses. There is already a world war. We are in World War V. World War III was the Cold War. With the Berlin Wall, it stopped, it finished. Then began World War IV, in which the USA was predominant. Then with 2008, with the economic crisis, financial crisis in the USA, and with the growth of China and Russia, now we are in World War V. There has never been peace in the world. There has been relative periods of relative peace. Peace periods have been periods when armies get ready for the other war. When we can achieve peace, we can co-construct peace only with concrete international solidarity. Here I find the basic ideas Marx and Engels. Let me say Engels and Marx. Engels contributed to more than Marx, I think, to Marxism. Without Stalin, against Stalin, and including the positive aspects of Gandhi. I'm not denying that. So, but this is a harsh path. That is why We need, this is a goal path. Every religion is a goal path, but not every goal path is a religion. I am not religious, I'm an atheist. I prefer to call myself a naturalist. I think nature is rich and creative, productive. But to me, it's not important whether there is a God or many gods or not. That's not important. We'll all find out when we die. No need to hurry. But we are on the same planet. Let's do good things together. That is why I consider myself an Earth civilization volunteer. A good Earth civilization is in progress. It is based on the awareness of the limitations of our home planet and the possibilities of synergy. And we cannot, and that's why I'm an Earthist, and I find the attitudes that find this world unimportant, the next world is more important. I find it harmful. I find this attitude harmful and destructive. I agree with Nietzsche that this earth right here, that's what we have. And whoever promises to get rid of, to forget the importance of this world for the sake of another world is misleading, whether knowingly or not, mostly not knowingly. I'm about to finish. Now, one of my favorite words is glocal, global and local together. It's one of the nice words. And I am not against globalization. I'm against capitalist globalization dominated by the Western powers, Northwestern. But I don't favor localism. I favor glocalization. That is, I am here and I am everywhere. All of us are where we are, and that means we are everywhere. This is a unique moment in human history, which is an optimistic position. And about to finish. And so I have one nice experience with ChatGPT, and I would like to invite you all to an experiment with ChatGPT. We can all, for example, world peace. We can take this and then each of us can add something else and feed it to ChatGPT and say, write a poem about achieving or constructing world peace. This can be the same thing. And then each of us can add something a little bit slight and see what the outcomes. I gave to ChatGPT, I said, I got 5 poems from ChatGPT, not free verse, not traditional, good poems, honestly. I said, write a poem about a tree that has lost its leaves in fall and is sad. 2, write a poem about a tree that is blooming in spring. 3, write about a seed that is about to become a tree. 4, write about a poem about a seed that has not been given water, so it's drying to death, etc., etc. And so variations. Just like when the photography machine was invented, artists did not become useless. AI will not make creative people useless. It will help us make use of our creative abilities even better. And it's an adventure. And let's not worry, be happy. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So now we come towards the end of this session, and if we can have some very quick
Sorry,
pointers.
oh, excuse me, one word, de-brainization. Turkey, there is a de-brainization operation in Turkey against Atatürk's secularity, secular, gender equal, science and art oriented. The 7th century Arab ideology as a religion is being imposed on Turkey, and that's a method of de-brainization control, which is supported by the United States. Thank you.
So now quickly, if we can have some very quick, because we are run completely out of time, so we cannot have too many detailed or explanations, so on and so forth. I am seeing Patrick, who has been working a lot in this area of as part of the World Civility Index, and we have been talking a lot in for this area. So the other day, as I pointed out right in the beginning, we had a very detailed discussion on this. So if you can quickly share your views, everyone, I request to kindly make it very, very short so that we can wrap it up. It's already more than 1.5 hours. So it's almost the Indian time, almost going to be 11. So may I request everyone to kindly share their viewpoints very quickly, and if you have any question for any of the speakers, so that also. May I start with Patrick? And I see 3 hands that are there. Madam Kumu Gupta, and Juliet. We have Arobonio Israel. So if you can think of very pointed question for any of the speakers, you're most welcome. But before that, Patrick, with your quick comments on this area. Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Professor. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Patrick Chan from Vancouver, Canada, and I run a nonprofit organization called the World Civility Index. It measures, it's somewhat similar to your personal credit rating, but instead of measuring how well you can pay your bills, it measures how much manners you have, how much empathy you have, and how much intercultural awareness you have over the years. And I'm very happy to attend this. Very recently, I attended a conference in Canada here, and I just want to show you very quickly what I have been doing so that you get to see. There are a few countries coming to Canada to learn about the World Civility Index. And these are universities from Mexico, from Thailand, from the Philippines. 3 countries came to Vancouver, Canada, my headquarters here, and they want to find out how they can help their students in learning about compassion, about nonviolence, about all the stuff that we have been talking about, because they realize that it's only by aligning students' mentality to nonviolence, to compassion, that they can get jobs more easily. So we're aligning people's pocketbook with virtual. I think that is very important. So like, for example, the Philippines, they're talking about all the universities in the Philippines to have this kind of training. Thailand, they're also talking about universities having these kind of training, and they want to integrate this into their regular curriculum. In Mexico, they want to have a program so that different professors can talk about different things about humanity, nonviolence, and compassion, and earn credits to something like this. So I'm working closely with our Canadian government here and to make this happen. So this is my way of contributing to this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Patrick. So, Madam Kumu Gupta, can you please, if you would like to ask a quick question to any of our esteemed speakers or anyone? So, if you would kindly be quick. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, hello everyone. This is Kumukta from the US.
Ma'am,
And I
can you
have
be a
a new
little louder,
initiative
please?
called
Can
Global.
you be a little louder? Madam Kumu Gupta is from the United States. Yeah,
Can you hear me?
please. Yes, please.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to know that here in the US, the government and Congress, they put a lot of effort coming up with legislation and rules to guide the use of AI in every aspect of the life. And I think that's a good thing because they want to make sure that things what were mentioned here, like jobs and things, don't get affected. And I think that just like have rules for everything here, like Twitter, there are some civility rules, decency rules. So I think that's a good thing. So I just wanted to say that.
Fine, ma'am, fine. Can we have Juliet?
Okay, thank you. Good evening. This is Juliet from South Africa. Yes, very interesting, and thank you to all the speakers. To be brief, I just believe that there's an internal war that a lot of people are going through with AI. A lot of people are feeling threatened and are feeling confused and concerned. So that causes an internal violence amongst people who are not comfortable with where AI is or where it's going. So my question is possibly to the last speaker, whose presentation I enjoyed like everyone else. How can we use art, especially in communities, in the development space, to get people to be comfortable or to get comfortable with the concept of the change that we are faced with? We are trying to bring in that in our communities, but how can we start getting people to be comfortable with the changes that the AI has brought in? Thank you.
So any of our esteemed speaker would like to answer this question? Yes, Dr. Tariq.
First of all, thank you so much for calling me doctor or professor. But this is a friendly, what's the word, qualification that I do not officially deserve, but thank you. Now, first of all, there is this fear, phobia of AI. Many intelligent people refrain from the internet. My uncle, for example, he translated lots of books. He's very intelligent, but he's afraid of going into the internet. And so inviting people to friendly connections with the computer and doing a few things, and also drawing attention to the AI possibilities everybody is using, actually, that we were not aware of. So AI phobia needs to be transcended by AI philia, I want to say, with caution. And let's think about the negative consequences, etc. But no, let's not kill our lives. Let's not live in a nightmare. Okay?
Fine. I think the point is well taken. Now we have 3 more hands that are there, and I think that's all we can take for the day because we are absolutely over time. And may I start with Arabonio, Israel? Can you please ask a question to any of the speakers or any point you want to make? A very quick, brief point, please.
Oh, okay. Good evening from Nigeria. This is Arabonlo Israel, the founder of Mission for Better Life in Slum Initiative, an initiative focused on addressing the issue of out of school children in Nigeria. I really appreciate this webinar. It has really been an insightful moment for me. I've really learned a lot. And thank you, Dr. Nikki, for the invite. Okay, my question is similar to what Juliet, asked. In 1992, Neil Postma, he coined the term technopoly, which of course referred to, the surrender of culture to technology. So, and over time, his postulation also, infer that there will be a time in history that technology will take over, human interaction. So it means there will not be a way of communicating, especially now that we have robots and AI taking people's job. So my question is, how can we, use technology to our own advantage? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes, please. Yes. So can you kindly, yes.
There's a background noise.
Yeah, if everyone can mute themselves except Israel so that we can hear him. I think.
Continue, please.
I think Juliet, if you can, yes. Yes, Israel, if you can finish your point kindly, so that we can.
Okay.
Tina and we
Yeah. The question is, how can we use technology to our advantage?
I'm not sure from where the sound is coming.
Hello, I guess, Nikki, you produce this and you don't know it. You produce a sound because you are going with 2 lines into this conference. So now here is this logo, and this logo produces problem.
So possibly, Nikki ma'am, if you can close that thing or mute that other line of yours, so that would be, I think, will be better. Yes, ma'am. Nikki ma'am, if you can kindly mute your other line. Or Professor Tariq, if you can also mute yourself, because I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure from where the sound is coming now.
I suggest we continue. I think it might be deliberate. Can I suggest we continue?
I'm not sure, possibly.
Can we continue? I think it's a cyber attack, but I think we must continue. So we finish the session, please.
Okay, we must continue. Possibly Tina can raise a point. I don't know, some problem somewhere. So if Tina can speak.
Did you ask me to speak?
Yeah. Because
okay. Okay. I'll speak over whatever interception is going on. Yes, It looks like Nikki's name has changed for some reason. Any case, what I wanted to say is thank you so much. I am humbled to be here today amongst my distinguished colleagues in the field, and I've got so much. I already have morning session, earlier session, reflections going on, and I'm going to have a lot to think about with this great session. Thank you so much. I wanted to ask you, in terms of trying to inject positivity into Chat GPT, I've been getting emails that say free prompts. In other words, providing prompts where you can, and sending them out, they're already set. Have you considered doing that? Nonviolent communication for Chat GPT, and also in terms of activation is what I hear from you. How can I become more active and be activated to be a part of this process? I'm very interested in doing more nonviolent communication.
So possibly this is a question for our first speaker. You're asking about non-violent communication. If Munaza is still there, Munaza, are you still Munaza, I'm here. Tina, well,
Were you able to hear me?
Hello, hi. I'm so sorry. I'm not able to hear anything properly.
now that voice, now that disturbance is out, so if Tina, if you can kindly quickly repeat your question.
Okay, so thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. Another great session. I'm very appreciative to all the speakers and guests. Thank you so much. One of the questions is one thing I'm hearing is activation. How can I be activated to promote nonviolent communication in terms of being more supportive of the good work that you are doing and others are doing in this field? The second thing is I get notices sometimes for free prompts, which are, GPT, of course,